He's bounced back in the 3-minute portion. Hasn't lost yet in the 3-minute portion if you're keeping track at home. And he's gone back confidently to his weird, you know, ready 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬 dealio here. All right, but Magnus.
Well, we're gonna get a sharp game here. It's gonna be hanging pawns. White tries to play e3 or, well, maybe d3 first, but at some point he's gonna play for d4. Although actually, I think I've had this position against Yasser a few times. He likes to try to try to trade off that knight on c6 and play a4, a5, and just hit this, put pressure on this b6 pawn, without giving black any space. That's the benefit of this English formation of e2 to c4 is there are no breaks against it without a d pawn. It's very hard to achieve e5. So yeah, he's just going to go for a4, a5. I've lost a few games like this. Yasser's an English specialist, so.
Yeah, you get these positions where if the b pawn is weak, the queen can come from c2 to b2, where she both hits b6, battery facing toward the king side, and white is comfortably in control. This is a tough diagonal situation for black because the c4, d3, e2 structure really just kind of holds the e4 square, holds the d5 square, and it keeps black's pieces out of the center, right? It's a tough situation for black. This is right, because black needs to play bishop f6 and try to simplify trading off.
You can simplify. It's going to be a nagging edge for white. That's the first time in a while. Well, not in a while, but Wesley, from this opening, he's getting something, I think, tangible. I think you take on b6, you play like queen b2 or rook b1 here, but like you're the only one who has a target, and I think that's a great position to be in blitz and in this match circumstance where he is slowly but surely finding his form.
Yep. Agreed, Town. We are there.
It's like, because what can Magnus do here? He has to sit back and let Wesley dictate the pace,
right?
And that's not where he's comfortable.
Yeah, white can play even moves like f3, knight e4, play moves like you just see, rook a3. Now he's gonna prepare to double on the b file, and or the a file. I guess he's still, like you said, he kind of dictates the terms of surrender. Is rook a7 really good? Because queen d6, knight e4. Magnus just blundered a piece, didn't he? Oh, no, I forgot he had rook b7 because of check. Yeah. Okay, my bad.
Either way, like white's just taking pot shots because he got this b6 pawn. If you try to get rid of it by playing b5, then c5 becomes weak. So it's really just white is going to.
Oh wow, Wesley just. That was surprising.
I actually am surprised. I've lost a few games like that. I like playing, I like that position for white. Maybe I miss it out, but I like that you just have the a file, you have no weaknesses, and you can push.
That'll definitely be a note. I've already just made a mental note to ask Wesley about that game in the post-match interview, because I wonder if his feeling was, I mean, he's clearly gained some momentum. He's on a roll. Why not try to grind out and push for a win? One theory, Eric, is maybe he thinks Magnus would hold after a really long game, and he wants more chances to strike and get a sharper position. So
yeah,
I'm going to make a note of that. We'll ask Wesley if that was a match strategy draw.
So they are repeating a position when Magnus had a beautiful attack via the H file in the 5-2 portion. I can hear you writing. No.
That's right.
So
I don't use paper often, but when I do, it's because I'm making notes for Chess TV. Well, regardless of the momentum shifting back to the American, obviously Magnus Carlsen still holds a 6-game lead in the match, and he's back to his old tricks here and the kind of position we expect. If we're looking for a slow grind, usually Magnus Carlsen is controlling the tempo of that grind. Thank you to I couldn't even read your username, Mike@Reese55 for subscribing to our channel. Appreciate the love, and that's a pawn on d5.
Yes, that would be quite unfortunate for Wesley to lose some of this momentum with that blunder. The problem is after g3, white's going to play king g2 and challenge the h file, so it's not even like a sacrifice for like this h file compensation.
Yeah.
It's just king g2 and rook h1. This is Magnus, I think, can sense this is a clear moment where if he wants to kill that momentum, this is it. Maybe queen g4 followed by knight e4, queen g4
I
and
like
knight
queen
e4.
g4.
I don't know, something like that. Although black's going to double on the h file, I might not be winning that knight, but queen. It looks like I
Yeah,
am.
Magnus
Like I
likes
just
this one.
simply play rook knight e4. Okay, good so far. Following it, but knight f5. Like how do you win this knight on h3? Well, you
Yeah.
can try to play knight h4.
But
You
it's
can try to play
hard
knight
because
h4. It's hard. There's knight f5 now. If you play rook h1, you literally have to play rook h1, rook h2, rook e to h1 to win it.
yeah, Magnus is going to take a think to probably calculate lines that Eric is talking about because, as Eric said, after knight h4, knight f5, there's just a lot of tactics coming on the h file, so you can't just safely grab that knight.
But yeah, he is in control because he's not committed to winning that knight. He just wants to, and it's very tempting. Like,
Right.
guy can't get away with the knight on h3. That's what you feel when somebody does that.
Right.
Because otherwise he's up a pawn. He's not facing any serious threats.
One idea is maybe to take h3 first, Eric, and then knight h4. I guess you let him give the rook back, but you would be kind
He
of...
gets the rook back,
Yeah, I
and
guess
the
that doesn't
h
work.
file. There might be this f4 square.
Yeah, this knight on d5
This looks
is
good.
really tricky.
Because black is committed to keeping that knight, whereas white hasn't committed to trapping it. His pieces can still do other functions. So I actually think this is a really nice approach by Magnus. f7 is now hit. No, this is really smooth. This
Queen
is
f3,
not
everybody.
allowing.
This g5 pawn can't be taken because if knight takes h8 is lights out. So Magnus pointing out that there's a pin on this h file.
Okay, so this looks like a desperate attempt, but it may actually work. I mean,
The g6 pawn's going to fall, and the question is,
well, it looks like everything is falling.
I mean, maybe just take f6. Actually, seems safer. Just gobble f6 instead. No, okay. Magnus wants g6.
He has he has all the options here. There's not a threat for black. Rook takes g. Okay, rook takes g6 is a threat because there's knight f4 check. So don't allow rook takes g6 here. That's all.
Yep.
All I can say. Besides that, you can move the knight away. You can play knight f8. You can.
Shout out to Smokey McPot for the sub. Yeah, Eric is highlighting something like this if you can't go for this and blunder your queen.
And knight h4, black can reply with knight h to f4 check and still be annoying. So Magnus took on g6. Now he is like, okay, he took on f6. Tactics. He's really saying though that black has nothing. Like he can just like
you can do whatever. This is all just this
yeah.
h file stack is nothing.
That's just a blunder.
Rook f5. That just forks
rook f5 and rook takes f2. Yeah.
Oh wow, Magnus.
And you know what's annoying about rook f5 is after queen f5, e5, there's also queen c6 check. So you don't have time to play rook takes h3. There's queen c6 check.
Wow.
Queen c6 check. That was a blunder, but it's still
blunders.
Knight e7 is a big time move there though, because you stop queen c6 check and you just threaten knight c8. So,
I think queen d6. I was going to say queen d7 probably does the trick though, because after knight c8, king b8, everybody, black can even play moves like knight f4 check intermezzo followed by queen g7 check. And rook to g8, Eric, is met by queen to d5, lights out.
Yep. It's interesting. Like we're seeing some blunders by Magnus, a little uncharacteristic. And in this game, he was from a position of strength. I'll say that's more uncharacteristic. He's not always the best
for
defender.
sure. I think everybody, including Magnus Carlsen, makes blunders when they're in bad positions and they've been outplayed because that's human nature.
Yeah.
But blundering when you're winning, that is something Magnus Carlsen does like 3 times a year. So check one of them off the list. It's just that was.
He's getting into time trouble as well.
Like, and he's in time pressure. I agree. So this is an interesting thing. And again, not.
But we do have to talk about how do we deal with this position right now. Like knight b6 is being threatened. Magnus, this might be winning for black, but he has to find it with a minute on the clock.
I still like the knight f4 check idea. You can't take it, because I can kind of flip the script with queen g7
and king f3,
and he goes for it. The nice thing is when the king moves, I can bring the knight back to e6 and disconnect the rooks from communicating.
Nice.
That's got to be
very nice. That's the solution. Well played. That should be what's winning. I don't see anything to stop that. Yeah, yeah. The stone
Yeah,
cold stunner.
and now we've got queen d5 check coming as well, so probably Magnus will throw in the towel here with 22 seconds on the clock. But this is a momentum shift right now. I mean, if you're looking at the scoreboard, everybody, only 17 minutes left. But after this win by Wesley,
And queen d5 check.
after this win by Wesley,
yeah, is that like a 3-0 run?
yeah, I mean, with a couple draws sprinkled.
With
but
a
as
couple
far as-
draws, that's what I mean. In terms of like +3, it was +8 or something at some point. Now we're looking at +5.
Yeah.
I think it was 11-3 at the match.
From London to Taiwan, I've been all around.